So, I think what's very unique is such a hands-on approach, really spending the time with the new franchisees, going out, doing a sales call, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right.
Setting up some vendor relationships. I think, that training in action is what really stands out, and support culture, which, culture, you're going to get talking to the franchisees, and validation. You're going to hear that and over and over. And I hear that. So I'm not on the calls, but I get the feedback from
Right.
some of the families that we work with, which is super impressive. What else about the support really differentiates Paint Easy? Because at the end of the day, there are multiple painting companies, right? And
Right.
some are doing residential, some are doing commercial, some are doing both. What really differentiates that? Because some people will come back and say, well, painting, well, there's a lot of painting companies in the area. So what are some of the other kind of key differentiators that make Paint Easy different?
Yeah, from the support level, I think some of the things that make us different is really the team. I'm blessed to have an amazing team around me. Our COO, Jason, he comes from a tech background. He has degrees in mechanical engineering. He also just got his doctorate in business administration with an emphasis on leadership. And so he brings a unique perspective to the team from a tech background and then also from a leadership background. Then Mike, our corporate training manager, he played college and professional basketball and then was a college basketball coach and then transitioned into 10 years of corporate training. And so he brings an amazing mindset of development, of training, and working with the owners and helping them see, with hitting minimum, like minor goals, building into more macro goals, how they can really build the business long term. And then we have another trainer that he's been in franchising his whole life. His parents are franchisors. He worked on their corporate team. He also worked as a franchisee in their system. And then he went to work with another franchise in the home services space for 3+ years. And so he brings a unique perspective of franchising to the table as well. And then from my personal background, having more of a paint technical background, we kind of train from unique perspectives, or, we take our strengths of where we train the best and then, allow the others to kind of step in where they're the best as well. You mentioned kind of in the field too. That's one of we've been doing that since day one. When I worked with the other franchise organization, they would just come to our corporate office, and then it felt like a little bit of sending them out to sink or swim at that point. And for me, there was it just felt like a disconnected handoff. You were at our offices, but you've never really seen it in the field. Good luck. And so from day one, since we've been franchising at Paint Easy, we've always went out to their market for what we call launch week. And we're actually going on sales calls with them. We're helping them recruit the labor to do the work. We're getting the introductions made on a local level with them. And for me, that just helps get the business started on a lot, firmer foundation, and also helps the franchise owner to feel like, hey, I can get success right out of the gate, and let me just continue that after they leave. And so that's how we get them started. But then it's even after that, there's daily conversations for 60 days after that point as well. It's making sure, they're going to have questions, they're going to have concerns that are going to happen. And so still helping them realize like, hey, you're not on your own, even though we're not there.
Yeah, that is, from a former franchisee, I think that is super helpful. With my first franchisor, we went out, I remember, on our first sales call, and I closed that deal. It was a very small deal. Between the trip and the driving back and forth, there wasn't much profit built in, but really, you started gaining some confidence. Like, okay,
Right.
I'm starting to understand the lingo, that there's a sales process that you really need to follow. Mistakes were made, but that's fine. You want to make those mistakes on the smaller accounts, just kind of figuring everything out, the pricing and everything else involved. But I think that's a missing piece. It's almost like I compare it to, I've never gone, but people have gone to like a Tony Robbins conference, and they're really pumped up over the weekend. They come home and it's like, okay, where do I start with this information? It's almost like you need Tony to come and really
Right.
kind of implement everything. And I think that's a big part of it. It's like we show you the way, we show you the training, the best practices, the technology, Now let's do it together. Let's get some sales. Let's get some vendors. Let's get maybe some employees. And I think that's the missing piece. And I'm not saying not, some franchisors do it and others, there may be limited training in the field, but I think that's the key differentiator. I think that's the missing piece in really setting someone up for success, because that first year is crucial. That first year is that I call it the builder year, where I ran my business full time and I reinvested all the profits back into the business. My wife was working at the time, so we were able to do that, but I wanted to build the perfect team, learn the lingo, the technology, the systems, the CRM. And sometimes that perfect team, sometimes that initial hire maybe doesn't work out, and that's okay.
Hands-on support is key. But how does Paint Easy stay ahead of the curve in an industry that hasn't changed much in 25 years? Next, JD discusses their focus on technology, AI, and adapting to modern customer buying behaviors. Listen to episode 250 of the Franchise Freedom Postcast.